know that in holding on to these four mazahib, one of them, there is great wisdom, and in turning away from there is great fasad and chaos. On page 33 he says, ولما اندرست المذاهب الحقة إلا هذه الأربعة كان اتباعها اتباعا للسواد الأعظم. When the true madhahibs faded away except for these four, so now following these four mazahib is following as-sawadul azam, the consensus and the majority of the Muslim ummah, which is classed as ijma'. So it is ijma' of ummah upon following one of these four mazahib. He says on page 29, لأن الناس لم يزالوا من زمن الصحابة إلى أن ظهرت المذاهب الأربعة يقلدون من اتفق من العلماء من غير نكير من أحد يعتبر إنكاره ولو كان ذلك باطلا لأنكره. He said before these mazahib came, people used to follow and taqleed of the ulama who were there, and nobody said, why are you following such an alim? If it was wrong, they would have said that this is wrong. Nobody said following an alim is wrong. So following ulama is important, necessary. Imam Baghawi rahmatullah alayhi writes, وَيَجِبُ عَلَى مَنْ لَمْ يَجْمَعْ هَذِهِ الشُّرُوطِ تَقْلِيدُهُ فِيمَا يَعِنُّ لَهُ مِنَ الْأَحَادِيثِ مِنَ الْحَوَادِثِ. That it is wajib that who does not have all these conditions and who does not have full knowledge of Quran Hadith, then he should follow a person who had full knowledge and who explained that to us. And he says, moves on, وَبِالْجُمْلَةِ Shawaliullah says, فَالتَّمَذْهُبُ لِلْمُجْتَهِدِينَ سِرٌّ أَلْهَمَهُ اللَّهُ الْعُلَمَاء وَجَمَعَهُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ حَيْثُ يَشْعُرُونَ أَوْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. Following the mujtahideen was a sir, a raz, and a secret which Allah inspired into the hearts of the ulama and gathered them on following the mujtahideen in a way which they perceive or they do not perceive. They realize or they do not realize. Allah somehow gathered them on there, and there is great maslihat in there. Let me mention something from Khatib Baghdadi rahmatullahi alayhi. Very nice quote. He says in Al-Kifaya that know that the masail of deen fall into one of two categories. One is masail which are explicitly clear in the Quran Hadith, and you follow the Quran Hadith in there. For example, 5 namaz, Ramzan's fasting, Hajj once in a lifetime, Zakat is farz. These are farz, everybody knows. Zina is haram, alcohol haram, ghibat haram, stealing haram, everybody knows this. So we will say that Allah said in the Quran that this is farz, this is wajib, this is farz, this is haram. Allah's Rasul said that this is necessary. We won't say that Imam Abu Hanifa said 5 namaz is farz. We won't say Imam Shafi said roza is farz. We won't say Imam Ahmad said zina is haram. Allah has said, Allah's Rasul said, because these masails are clear. But after these farais, there are some details in there. In salat, from starting salat Allahu Akbar to finishing salam, you will get 200 masails. How to raise your hands, where to tie them, how to start your salat with Sana Subhanakallahumma, Auzu Billah, Bismillah, Surah Fatiha, Surat, how to perform your ruku, what to read in ruku, how your posture should be, how to raise your head, and what to say after raising your head, and how to go in sajda, what to say in sajda, and what is the correct posture of sajda. Now these are detailed masail. Now these will be established through research. So in there you can say that Imam Abu Hanifa said you have to raise your hands to your earlobes, and Imam Shafi's research is that you have to raise your hands to your shoulders. And you can say that Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah said that Surah Fatiha is wajib, but Imam Shafi said that Surah Fatiha is farz. And you will say that Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah said that tasbih of ruku is sunnat, and some other alim said tasbih of ruku is wajib. So this is in these detailed masail, you can quote the second type of masail in which there is in-depth study is needed. In that you have to follow the research of the ulama and follow them. And this is what is mentioned. Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi's quote. Moving on, he says in Ihya al-Ulum on page 35, Jil 3, وَإِنَّمَا حَقُّ الْعَوَامِ أَن يُؤْمِنُوا وَيُسَلِّمُوا وَيَشْتَغِلُوا بِعِبَادَتِهِمْ وَمَعَائِشِهِمْ. The duty of general public is to believe and to submit and to be busy in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and busy in their day-to-day livelihood, earning their livelihood in their jobs, money, day-to-day life. وَيَتْرُكُوا الْعِلْمَ لِلْعُلَمَاءِ. And their duty is to leave the ilm and knowledge for the learned people, for the ulama. He moves on to say, listen very carefully, فَالْعَامِّيُّ لَوْ يَزْنِي وَيَسْرِقْ كَانَ خَيْرًا لَهُ مِنْ أَنْ يَتَكَلَّمَ فِي الْعِلْمِ. A general person, a layman, if he commits zina, if he steals, that would be better for him than speaking with regards to some ilm and knowledge, learned masail. Why? فإنه من تكلم في الله وفي دينه من غير إتقان العلم وقع في الكفر. Because if someone does not have proper knowledge and he starts talking about deen in Quran and Hadith, then he could fall into kufr. He could become a kafir. His condition is like min haythu la yadri. He won't even realize that he's becoming kafir. His condition is like someone who jumps into the ocean sea and he doesn't know how to swim. So he's going to die. So similarly, Imam Ghazali Rahmatullah Alayhi says that for a layman to do something zina chori is better for him than talking about Quran and Hadith, because he doesn't know Quran and Hadith properly. He could fall into kufr. So this would be better for him than doing that. Moving on. In this day and age, you get many people who are called ghair muqallideen. Let me just finish off by quoting one quote from Maulana Hussain Batalwi, who was about maybe say 100 years ago in India, and he was a leader of the ghair muqallideen who called themselves Ahl Hadith. And he had a deep conversation with Hazrat Maulana Qasim Nanotwi Rahmatullah Alayhi some time ago, and he was convinced by Maulana Qasim Nanotwi Rahmatullah Alayhi that it is necessary to follow Madhab. Later on in his life, he said this. 25 बरस के तजर्बा से हमको ये बात मालूम हुई है कि जो लोग बावजूद बेइल्म होने के मुजतहिद की तकलीद छोड़ देते हैं, वो बिलाखिर इस्लाम भी छोड़ देते हैं. उनमें से बाज ईसाई बन जाते हैं, बाज लामजहब हो जाते हैं, जो किसी मजहब के पाबंद नहीं रहते, अहकाम शरीयत से फिस्क और खुरूज. तो इस आज़ादी का अदना करिश्मा है. इन फासिकों में से बाज तो खुल्लम खुल्ला जुमा, जमात, नमाज, रोजा छोड़ बैठते हैं, सूद शराब से परहेज नहीं करते, और बाज जो किसी मसलहत दुनियावी की वजह से फिस्क ज़ाहिरी से बचते हैं, वो फिस्क खफी में सरगर्म रहते हैं, नाजायज तौर पर औरतों को निकाह में फंसा लेते हैं. कुफ्र और इर्तिदाद और फिस्क के असबाब दुनिया में और भी बहुत से मौजूद हैं, लेकिन दीनदारों का बेदीन हो जाने का बड़ा सबब ये भी है कि वो कम इल्मी या ला इल्मी के बावजूद तकलीद मजहब को छोड़ बैठते हैं. बहवाला सबीलुर रशाद पेज 10 फतावा रहीमिया 131 जिल्द 6. समझ पड़ गई? He is saying that after 25 years of my experience, I have come to the conclusion that those who have no knowledge or little knowledge and abandon the following of a particular madhab, then slowly they abandon Islam as well. Some become Christians, some have no madhab, and many of them go into fisk and a life of transgressing the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some of them just abandon Jummah and Jamaat and Namaz and Roza, and they go into Sood and Sharab and they don't avoid them. And others who avoid them because of some dunyavi maslahat and reason, they go into a secret fisk khafi, like for example performing nikah with ladies in a najaiz way and haram way, taking them into their nikah. And he goes on to say that the asbab and the reasons of kufr and irtidad and apostasy and fisk and fujur in dunya are many. But one of the main asbab and reasons is that people become bedeen and go out of deen because they have no knowledge and they abandon taqleed, and then they follow their own desires and whatever they feel they do. And this is true, and we have seen these types of people. I know myself a person who was a person from our Gujarati community in Bolton, and he fell into some of these people's hands. And slowly he started doing this Rafiya and Amin bil Jar and going into there. Then he went to study somewhere in another country, and when he came back, he had ajeeb views. He used to say that, what type of Rasulullah is this? Sometimes he's saying this, sometimes he's saying that. No. Is he a Nabi? Is he a Prophet? Why did he say this and why did he say that? There are contradictions in his words. And Na'uzubillah, he went on to marry a non-Muslim, a Yahudi girl, and he's gone out of the fold of Islam. Because of these objections, his iman no longer remained with him. No. So this is what Maulana Hussain Batalwi is saying, that you have to follow an imam and stay within the mazhab. Otherwise, you know the perils and you will fall for that. May Allah protect our iman and give us correct understanding of deen. So, next week, inshallah, some objections of the non-muqallideen, and then we will finish the topic.
Okay.